Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of the Wool to Gold podcast. My name is Brian, I'm your host, and today we're going to be unboxing some fiber. So this is my order that I placed with Fossil Fibers a while ago. We're going to talk a little bit about Fossil Fibers, we're going to talk a little bit about the fiber that I actually bought, but before we get into any of the unboxing, I thought I would take the opportunity today to also talk about how to seek out quality hand-dyed fiber, what makes quality or what makes not quality hand-dyed fiber, and what you can do as a very beginner spinner to streamline your experience into spinning, okay? Because nothing will halt you in your steps faster than bad prep. I really stand by this, okay? You can get away with you can make some really beautiful yarn in a really zen and comfortable manner on a very inexpensive spinning wheel, but sometimes inexpensive or really expensive prep that is done poorly can really just make or break you. Spinning felted wool is just one of those things that is a real bummer when it happens, okay? One of the reasons I am such a die-hard Fossil Fibers fan is because, A, I just love their color sense. Like, their colorways that they choose, what they're inspired by, love it. Obsessed with it. Think they do really great work. But one of the other main reasons that I really love Fossil Fibers is because the prep is consistently perfect. It's beautiful. It has been hand dyed with care, okay? So if you are new to the world of hand spinning, right? Maybe you are somebody who has experience knitting and crocheting. We've all seen those beautiful hand dyed yarns, and you know, we all have different relationships with them. Some people really love hand dyed yarn, some people really don't like it. One really cool thing about getting into spinning is that hand-dyed fiber is kind of its own thing, right? Because it's not like hand-dyed yarn. It's not set into place yet. You can spin it in a way that makes it more usable for you in a crochet or knitting project, and there are lots of ways to do that. I have lots of other tutorials on my channel if you are just clicking on this video and you've never seen me before. I make lots of hand spinning content, so if you want to know how to spin up certain colorways, certain braids that you have and things like that, how to take apart a braid, go check out my channel. But essentially, fiber is in many ways, although you have the color set for you, it's kind of a blank slate in terms of what you do with them. As a result, I find that knitters, crocheters, weavers who are coming to hand spinning are less averse to picking up hand-dyed fiber, right? Because there's a lot more things that you can do with it compared to hand-dyed yarn, at least in a lot of people's perspective. My point with all of this is that we all love hand-dyed fiber, okay? We all love hand-dyed fiber. We all see it. It's beautiful. The colors are awesome. A lot of the times it's stuff that it's difficult to get access to on a commercial scale. And so, you know, we all want to go and buy some fiber and also give our money to artists, okay? I, as an artist, love giving my money to really great hand dyers like Fossil Fibers, okay? But there are risks because not all fiber prep and not all hand dyes are equal, okay? There's a lot of factors that go into this. I'm going to start with the most basic one. Not all hand dyers get their braids of fiber from the same wholesaler, right? And as a result, all of those braids will not be made equal. I have some hand dyers that I like to buy from. Fossil Fibers and Four Hearts Mainly Fibers specifically are two sources where I happily buy Rambouillet braids. I'm not a big fan of the Rambouillet braids that I've purchased from other hand dyers, and it's not because of the way that they were dyed, which again, we're going to talk about in a minute, but it was the actual commercial prep was a lot more compressed, just not in a way that I found really easily spinnable or enjoyable. Okay, and again, what is enjoyable to spin is one of those really subjective things. So what I really like, you might really not like, and vice versa, and that's totally okay. But my point being is that, you know, not all braids from all hand dyers are going to be equal. They're not all built equal, all right? There are different wholesalers that you can technically source fiber from here in the US. And frankly, people are becoming more and more like creative and innovative and sort of shedding more light and availability on like hand processed fiber recently as well, which also opens up the door to just a lot more options. But another thing that can impact the pleasure of your spin, how much you're enjoying the fiber, is how it was actually dyed. Okay, I'm gonna say this in a really like not sugar coated and mollycoddled way, because I have kind of sugar coated it in the past. And at the end of the day, if this saves like a beginner spinner from dropping a lot of money on some really crap fiber, or it prevents somebody from getting completely halted in the hobby. So getting bad prep can quite literally like break you. I love to spin. I love to spin yarn, but I have spun through 2 felted braids before. One very coarse fiber, one very fine fiber. Both of them were felted in a lot of spots. It was the worst. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I mean, that alone would make a lot of people give up the hobby, especially if you just dropped a lot of money on that fiber. And so here's the thing. People who think, some people who hand dye yarn think that they can hand dye fiber. Those things are not the same. Being able to hand dye yarn and being able to hand dye fiber are not the same experiences. Fiber is a lot more susceptible to felting. And, you know, the thing about felting in general is that people who are not inundated in the world of wool don't understand that, like, the whole thing doesn't need to be felted for there to be felted patches and for the spinner to feel that on our end. Okay, with yarn, if there's a few little felted patches amongst like your hand-dyed yarn, most people will not notice. Like, I'm gonna be so real with you, like, because felting is a spectrum. Felting is not is and isn't. Felting is more of a spectrum, and anybody who's like hand felted a bag or something like that will totally agree with you, right? There's sort of like steps along the way. There's like semi-felted, halfway felted, like almost fully felted, and then when you get it fully felted and it's like one consistent fabric, like that's kind of the end product. That's what most people visualize when they visualize felting, but that's not exactly how it works. And so as a result, people who hand dye yarn, I think often you can be a little bit, or frankly a lot more rough with the yarn while it's under active heat and not get felting. The same cannot be said for comb top braids or roving, really, especially roving. I see people manhandle the heck out of roving while it's wet and under heat and they're dyeing it. I don't care how vibrant your colors come out, that fiber is not going to be fun to spin. Even if it's not fully felted together, that fiber is going to have some points in it where it's going to be really, really difficult to draft or really nearly impossible to draft, and that's going to make the spin really, really unpleasant, okay? If you've never experienced felted fiber, I mean, if you want to know what it feels like, you can take like a little section of fiber and you can go like felt it yourself if you want to a little bit, and then try to spin that. It sucks. It sucks. And spending good money on a bunch of felted fiber can really be a bummer. And at this point, I hear you saying, like, I can hear it. I know people are gonna be like, how am I supposed to tell? How am I supposed to tell what the good hand-dyed fiber is, what the bad hand-dyed fiber is? Like, okay, here's the thing. I think that it's important to always do your research. I think that do a cursory Google, do a cursory YouTube search, okay? Spinners are a pretty vocal community, okay? I feel like a lot of the times I see so many spinners who have been putting out consistent content and videos here on YouTube for a super long time, and they talk a lot about the fiber that they buy and that they like. If you see, too, that, like, a lot of hand spinners in your guild are all using, like, a similar fiber, ask them about it. Ask them who dyed it. You know, ask them where they get their fiber. I think it's good to go to the community and ask around and get the reviews, because people are often, they're willing to give them. I would never badmouth a small business like actively online. I just don't really see like a huge purpose in that. A lot of the times when I buy fiber for the first time from somebody new, I buy in a small amount, because if it's not my jam, then it's not a huge loss to me. It's kind of whatever, you know. I just know I don't really want to go and buy their prep again. That being said, if you ask me outright if I liked my hand-dyed fiber from X, if I liked my prep from Y, I'm gonna be honest with you. And if the answer is no, I'm gonna say no. It's definitely happened before that I've gotten prep that I was just not a big fan of. One prep that I don't mind dragging to absolute pieces because it was crap. Someone told me recently that they improved it, but it took years for them to improve it, so I'm not really sold on giving it a second chance. Malabrigo Malabrigo braids are notoriously felted. For one thing, you want an example of felting? That's an example of felting. Okay, super compacted, needs to be drafted a ton, right? Some braids don't need to be pre-drafted a ton, right? Some of them are more compact, some of them are less compact. One of the reasons that I love Fossil Fibers is because a lot of their braids are super non-compact. They come very, very spinnable. I don't have to do a lot of pre-drafting, and I like that. Not saying I won't do pre-drafting if it's necessary for a beautiful braid. I really don't mind. But I do find myself drawn to dyers who don't use super tight braids. There's a lot of reasons for this. I do think those super tight braids tend to also get, like, again, compacted and felted over time. Like, we've twisted it so tight that I think those center core fibers are under a lot of pressure. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. Long-term storage, I just think it results in, I don't know, kind of not fun fiber to spin. Again, we're talking about how fun fiber is to spin because, like, that is the core of the hobby, right? It's a hobby. We're doing this because we want to have fun. So that's something that I know there are people who are like, well, I don't care if it's felted. I'll push through it for the way that it looks. I don't care if I have to suffer for my yarn. Okay, I do. I don't want to suffer from my yarn. I care, and I think a lot of other people care as well. So if that's going to be your take on this video too, you can just, I mean, you can go talk to yourself in the comments. That's fine. People do that a lot on this channel. Moving along though to the actual unboxing and also what inspired this order. So I have only one last little braid left. It was 4 ounces. It is 4 ounces. I'm not done spinning it. I have about 2 ounces left though. I'm essentially at the halfway mark, but this is Beetroot Bop. This is I think it might have been Rambouillet Silk Blend from Fossil Fibers, Beetroot Bop. It is purples, pinks, oranges. It's really beautiful. I've been spinning it on Marion, my Shack Matchless. Here she is. Look at those freaking colors. It has been so smooth. Frankly, I've been really upset that I haven't had more time to spin, but I have been crocheting a lot, and work has just been, holidays in the service industry are just a crazy time, so it's been busy. Y'all know how it is. I've been trying to make a little bit of time here and there to continue this spin because it is going to be part of a gradient tutorial that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be showing you guys my chain plying, talking a little bit about like gradients / self-striping yarns, and how to take a braid and, you know, use it for a gradient versus using it for a self-striping yarn. I'm not going to show you how to actually build a gradient in that video. However, if you guys are interested in, like, you know how I did like the DIY fractal video, I could maybe do a similar thing for gradients. If people were interested. I don't know if people are interested, but because it was finally time to get that on the wheel and finish spinning that, I thought it was time to get more stuff from Fossil Fibers because it made me sad that I had no more Fossil Fiber braids in the collection. And lately I have been cooking up. I really would like to incorporate my hand spun in a crochet sweater. I don't know if this is going to be sometime super soon because obviously I have to spin the yarn, and I have a sweater vest project that I kind of want to get off the ground first before I do that. I did purchase 2 braids of the same colorway in this order for that sweater, and so I wanted to show them to you guys, and I wanted to show you all of the dyes that I got because this was the mycelium. A lot of the colors that I got were from the mycelium collection. Right now they're doing, I think, is it Spirited Away? Or it might just be a Studio Ghibli inspired, like, hand-dyed selection this month. So if that sounds like it's your energy, go check them out. I don't even have like an affiliate link or anything. I just think that Fossil Fibers does a really, really good job with their hand dyes. But yeah, let's bust this bad boy open. I want to show you guys all of the braids that I got. This is probably the biggest order that I've placed with them, maybe. I think this is the biggest order that I've placed with them. Alrighty, here's the first one.
Let's unroll it. Oh, is this might be one of the ones that I got for my sweater.
I'm gonna do the influencer hand for our English breakfast tea, which I'll probably make after I finish filming this video. Okay, yes, these are the braids that I purchased for my own sweater. Okay, so these aren't going to end up on the shop, but I might take you along to spin them. I do think I'm going to make both of them into like gradient skeins similar to the one that I'm doing for Beetroot Bop. Let me take them both out of the paper so you can see them in all of their glory, okay? So first, the colors, unsurprising that I would choose like this type of colorway. The black is something that I have been wanting to spin and like work with in terms of crochet for a little while now. I know it's like tricky, but I don't know. I think I'm there. I think the silk content in this is going to help me see it. It is 8515 Polworth silk, which I love Polworth silk. I bought like a pound of it, like a whole pound in white like 2 years ago. And I remember saying when I bought it, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna spin all this. I don't know how I'm gonna use all of it. But once I did, and once it was gone, I really missed it. And I used it all in under a year, so that was pretty good. The colorway for these braids is Hextech versus Shimmer. They are 4-ounce braids, and as you can see, they're just beautiful, right? We have this really nice, like, fuchsia, purple, pink at the base here. The black is something that I've been really curious about, again, working with and just spinning. Dyeing black is really hard. Dyeing a true black like that is difficult. And so I really wanted to give it a try. And I'm just a big fan. You guys know me and blue. I love blue. I just think like a neon gradient number in a crochet sweater. I just think it would be cool. I think it would look awesome. And that's the plan for these braids. All right, the next one, we're just gonna rip this bad boy open because I'm excited. Ooh, okay, yes, I remember this one. This one, I think, is one of the dessert inspired ones that I got. Yes, it's a plum ginger pie, which, as you can see, as I mentioned, went crazy with the gold and purple, baby. Look at that. Look at that. I don't like spinning. In fact, I detest spinning 100% silk, but a little bit of silk, especially to really get that color intensity on the purples and that like little touch of blue at the very top, I am just obsessed with. This one is BFL and silk, so 8515 as well, but this is BFL, so this yarn is going to be a little bit on the drapier side. I'm probably going to make this like slightly lower twist because you have the longer stapled silk, slightly longer stapled BFL. BFL is still like a really like fine, in my opinion, wool, but I think technically it's classified as a medium wool if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's really beautiful. I think this is a spectacular braid as well. It's yummy, just like the name implies. And I think it's gonna make a really nice yarn. I think I'll probably make this a gradient, and I'll list this on the shop. So I'll spin it top to bottom and I'll chain ply it, very similar to the Beetroot Bop, very similar to the yarns that I'm going to be keeping for my sweater. But again, this one will probably end up listed on the shop because I'm not, as much as I love spinning BFL, I don't really like working with BFL yarns personally, but I know a lot of people who do, and so this one will definitely end up listed. Okay, so we have 3 more braids, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of these I'm planning on spinning up and eventually listing on my shop. So I'll keep you in the know about when the next shop update is. But the first braid that we have here is one that is from, I'm pretty sure it's from the Mycelium collection. I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones that is inspired by mushrooms and fungi, which is definitely up my alley. I think it might not be. It might be one of the other ones. Let me take a look. No, it is. It is. Okay, so this one is called Stematis, splendens. Stemonitis splendens. I'm just gonna hold up the card so you can see how it is actually pronounced. As you can also see, it's 8515 Polworth silk as well. I've just been wanting to spin more Polworth lately. I just love Polworth. It gets so lofty and fluffy when it's finished, right? It spins up and you think it's going to be one weight, but frankly, it's one of those yarns. It's like it's one of those yarns. It's one of those wools like CVM where it goes crazy if you thwack it. It gets so lofty and fluffy. I just thought this colorway was really beautiful and fun. I think I might do, I don't know if I'm going to do a fractal with this one or what. But I just thought it was pretty. I liked the pop of gold. I've really liked spinning pinks recently, and purple is one of those things that, like, I always say I don't like spinning it, but then when I do, it comes out really nice. And so, like, much like how my relationship with orange used to be, and so I'm trying to spin more of it and broaden my horizons. I just think this is really, like, it's really sweet colorway. It's a very sweet, soft, pretty colorway, and I think it's just gonna make a really sweet, soft, pretty yarn. Alrighty, last braid in the collection that I ordered. We ended up getting 5 total. I'm gonna open this bad boy up. I kind of forget. I know it was a really good colorway. Oh, yes. Okay, no one is gonna be surprised. This is definitely a braid that is a little bit more in my usual, like, color range. It's usually the kind of colors that I like to spin. This beautiful bad boy. So this is another one of the mycelium inspired ones. So I'm gonna hold this up so you can see the name. I am really not even gonna try to pronounce this one. Not gonna give y'all the satisfaction of that. Actually, Lamproderma scintillans. Lamproderma scintillans. I actually think that might be right. Probably not. Probably not. This is 80-10-10 Targi bamboo silk. Okay, Targi wool is one of those wools that is kind of like one of my OG loves. Targi wool is one of those wools that I fell in love with very early in my spinning career. I just think, like, I remember spinning Targi and being like, if this is an option, I really just don't understand the appeal of merino. But this Targi is fantastic. I have been wanting to spin something with, like, more stuff with, like, a little bit of a bamboo content, a little bit of a rayon content, a little bit of something that's going to give the yarn some resistance to pilling, and possibly give it the chance of being, like, used for, like, a sock yarn. I don't know if that's how I'm actually going to spin this. I definitely want to turn this into a fractal. I'm not going to gradient spin this. I know it has the potential to be that kind of spin, but I'm definitely going to spin this fractal. And I just think it's going to be a pleasure to spin. It's going to puff up a bunch because the loftiness of the Targi is going to help balance out the sort of, like, silky, drapey nature of the bamboo and the silk. And again, I think the bamboo and silk is going to give this yarn a little bit more strength. That the fine wools are prone to pilling, right? So the bamboo and the silk are going to help kind of prevent that a little bit more, and just make it hold up to wear and tear in general. So I look forward to spinning this one. This one is the only one where I'm like, I know I'm going to be tempted to keep this yarn, but if I can't think of anything to actually use it for, I can't really justify keeping it. But I love the little touch of green. I love the browns with the blue. Brown and blue are just my jam lately. I like the little bit of purple that you got going on here that gives it kind of this, like, dimension that I think is, again, going to lend it to a fractal spin really, really well. Maybe I'll do, like, more of a quick self-striping variegated thing. I don't really know. Those are decisions for another day, okay? This is the last braid. I think it's fantastic. This one is probably the softest, honestly. I think this one is the softest, at least in my opinion. I think it probably has to do with the fact that I am, again, like, I love Targi. It was my original love before I fell in love with Polworth, and all of the rare wools. I really think Targi, underrated player, just really beautiful wool. Alrighty, fiber friends, that is all for today. That was our spectacular unboxing of our Fossil Fibers order. I really look forward to spinning all of these braids. You're definitely going to hear about it here on the channel, in my whip checks, in my demonstration videos, all those fun things. If I mentioned anything in this video that you want to see a tutorial of, anything like that, drop it down in the comments. Thank you again for watching this video. Thank you again for going to check out Fossil Fibers, hopefully, on their platforms. I just recommend just following their Instagram page, if anything, for inspiration. I mean, they're just really a neat hand dyer. I think they do a really cool job. And this was the dopamine boost that I needed today. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, no matter how fun a holiday is, you know, it's just a lot of stress. It's a lot of hustle and bustle. It's a lot of work. and I need a little pick-me-up today, and this really did the trick. This really did the trick. So I hope this makes your day a little bit better as well. If you made it this far in the video, tell me which of the braids is your favorite. Tell me the one that you are the most excited to see me finish. Maybe I'll start that one first. Who knows? And I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Wool to Gold podcast.